All right, what's going on, everybody? Today we're doing another review for Fully Coolly Progressive. This is going to be the review for episode 4. Full spoilers. We're going to be talking about everything in the episode. We'll try to keep this one short, even though we might go a little long this week because there was a lot to unpack in this episode. Uh, Joining me today is my friend who's done the other reviews with me. If you've seen the other reviews on my channel for Fully Coolly Progressive, Rex Sparks. I got to start introducing you because I keep forgetting to do that. But yeah, so what do you think about this episode? Just overall thoughts of the episode?
Um, I feel like this was a better episode than last week's episode. It was a lot more to actually unearth, and I still have a lot more questions than I do answers. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, well, I thought this episode was good too. Now, I think you're kind of one of those people that feel the same way that I'm seeing a lot of people say, okay, this isn't so far this season hasn't been as good as the previous season, and a lot of people think that so far it hasn't gotten too insane. It's like not on that same level of insanity. It's not on that same level of the way they told the story and everything. Do you think that this episode was like on that level? Because for me, I think it was. I mean, I
Oh,
didn't
most
have a
definitely.
problem with the other episodes. Oh well, go ahead.
I think that I think that this episode was a more return to form with how they handled pretty much everything, like especially like the fight. But this season, I'm not gonna say this season is bad. I'm not gonna say that. I'm it's not the same. It's obviously not the same. They took liberties with how they've done this season in comparison with the first season, but it's not bad. But except this episode in comparison to last week's, this was a lot better. I'm sorry, Stone Skipping didn't do it, but Looper, however you're supposed to however you're supposed to say this name, um, was a lot better, and it felt like season one esque. So
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I know what it is. I just watched the episode over. I actually watched all 40 episodes over, and I watched the episode last night over. I think what it is that the first 3 episodes it had normal pacing. It wasn't really fast. Like I feel like the other like just in comparison to the first season, I feel like the first season the pacing was just lightning fast. It was bam, 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 bam. Every 5 seconds, something's happening, and it's a lot to process. It's only a few times where the show would just slow down and give you a chance to breathe. I feel like this episode had a lot of that, and normally a show or movie or whatever you're watching, if it's too fast paced, that could be a detriment. That could be a bad thing. But for Fully Cooley, the way that this show is, the way that they've done it in the past, like that's what fans love. And there was just a lot of crazy stuff in this episode that we'll get into. That I feel like this was, like you said, a return to form. But like I was about to say before you start talking, I haven't, overall, I haven't been dissatisfied with this season at all. I've been loving this season. I think this episode, I will agree that this episode was a lot better than last week's episode. Stone skipping. I think that Looper, or however you want to say the title of this episode, is a lot better. Mainly because it was a lot. I think it was a lot better focused. Because I think last week's episode it had a bit of filler in that episode. I mean, I don't think the episode. I think last week's episode, episode 3. I don't think it. I don't think it really took us anywhere in terms of just the story. Yeah, yeah. I mean, last week's episode set up Aiko, the girl, the rent to date girl, and everything. It set it
Hustler.
yeah it set the hustler up, the Lolly. It set her up, and her father and everything, and the old man. They kind of set what they're doing up. They're doing research, and we see them again in this episode. But overall, I thought this episode was really good. So let's go ahead and get into the little small and big details of the episode. Let's go ahead and get in depth with this. So the episode starts off so like last week. So like by the end of last week's episode, Hidomi's basically unconscious. Um, basically Haruko basically tells Ide to take her headphones off while she's unconscious. and the emergency basically the emergency system was activated, and then Ide tries to take the headphones off. She's unconscious, and this episode starts off like the way that they start out the episode. They open it up kind of interview style, like they have it to where it's like these characters are getting interviewed, and then we see Marco, the fat dude whose name I keep forgetting every time we do this review, every time we do the reviews and everything. We get the fat dude Haruko, uh, 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 Hidomi's mother. Everybody's talking about Hidomi and her new personality. Now this week we got happy. We got the happy Hidomi, the Hidomi that we've been kind of seeing in the dreams and stuff. The Hidomi that we heard the voiceover in I believe it was episode 2. Yeah, so she's completely different personality, and I believe in the description of this episode. I believe in the description of the episode, they made it seem like it was going to be a bigger deal that Marco was kind of falling for her, because at one point in the episode, he's testing this new ride, and he says that he wants to give her a gift and everything. But what do what do you think about all the well, I guess the way that they introduced, well, not introduced, but the way that they opened up this episode and everything like that? Like, what do you think about that? Because I don't want to talk too much. I want to give you a chance to talk. So
Okay. Well, I like the little interview bits that they did with how they introduced the episode, especially like Kidomi's mom, like even saying like, "I now feel like a mother. I now feel like her actual mother." I'm like, that caught me. That caught me because like, okay, so when she's absolutely miserable, you just can't help her at all, and like it even had gave their ages and such. Real quick. Ide did not have any of this because he knows for a fact that that ain't Hidomi. That is not how
yeah,
Hidomi acts.
he's pissed. He's pissed the whole episode. He's like, man, change her freaking back.
I'm like, he's like, this ain't my woman. This ain't my woman. I don't know who this fakeness is. I don't know who you are. But it's like Marco. Now it's like, okay, now he likes her because she's acting like this. Okay,
And like
thank
here,
you for that.
here's the
Go
thing.
ahead.
Not to I'm gonna give you, like I said, I'm gonna give it back to you in a second, but I just want to point out, because like I was mentioning, the plot synopsis for the episode, the plot summary, like they made it seem like it was gonna be a big deal for him, liking her and everything. And like going into this episode, I was scared this was gonna be like they were gonna make it into like a love triangle where they're like fighting over her, like Ide gets mad or gets jealous or anything like that. So I'm happy they didn't. I'm happy they didn't go that route. But at the same time, I kind of felt like it was kind of unnecessary, kind of just
Yeah.
unnecessary to kind of have this character be like, oh, okay, oh my god, I like this new happy, the happy version of Hidomi. I want to give her a gift. I want to show her, I want to show that I have interest in her. Like I kind of felt like that was maybe unnecessary. I don't know if they're gonna go somewhere with this or whatever, but just kind of pointless, maybe. I mean
I
that.
don't know. With this
I don't know.
show, it's kind of I don't know, man. With this show, it's kind of hard to tell us like whether or not they'll go back to it or not. I kind of hope they don't because it's like it was kind of like you said unnecessary in a way because like okay, just because she's acting like this, it's like now you have a thing for her. Okay, that's kind of shallow, but okay. I guess we have to add you to do this somehow, and just other than that, I don't know why they build like Haruko. It's like 17, I think, but in the first season, they build her as
Yeah,
19.
she
So
was
what's this
19.
reverse
I noticed that. Yeah.
aging nonsense? Or and how is she a teacher if she's 17? Japan, how are you
Well,
gonna
she's
explain
a
this one
well,
today?
she's an alien, so they don't really they can like not know her age or whatever. Like I don't know, she's an alien, so
So okay, with that, it's like we got Jinyu actually going over like how we're they supposed to get the drill security system off her like God. It's like so with her drilled up like that. It's like that's why she's acting like a little crack baby right now.
Yeah, so apparently there's like waves, like radio waves or whatever, coming into the headphones that are just making her act crazy, and so like their main mission, like the main point of the episode, they're trying to basically take down medical mechanica, their plant. They go to the medical mechanica plant and they have to basically destroy the receiver so that she can return to normal. And at one point, not well, I don't want to skip over this because I don't want to skip over this before we get to the part where they go to medical mechanica and everything. Just the people. So like when they're at the restaurant making the plan and everything, we hear people singing "Fully Cooley" and all this stuff. So we hear the people singing in the background, and I felt like that added to the atmosphere, and that kind of added to the whole thing. I thought it was cool, and um, it was something else. It was something else that was in that. But what do you think about that? I guess. Wait, what do you think about that part?
um, I think it was great because it like really shows us how much influence like her Haruko like has over this town in a way still, and I don't know what this was. This just got a kick out of me too. It's like Jinyu still has the maid outfit on, and Haruko even points out like, "Do you have like a fetish for that or something? We have to get those headphones off her." I'm like,
I mean,
it's like not even.
I just assumed that she was working though, like she was still working there because they were still at the restaurant.
Yeah, but it's like really. But honestly, I think the opening worked. Like overall, it kind of worked, and even showed like how much like happy Hitomi like really is like a suspect because she just like going around town being all happy and such. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, she's
change her
going
back.
around barking barking at cats and stuff. Like the episode was freaking insane. It was just everywhere. It was literally everywhere, and that's
Hold
something
on, hold
that.
on.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
That cat scene is that the same? That's the same cat from the first season, by the way.
Oh, see, I didn't notice that. Yeah, so good thing you pointed that out. That's good. Oh, okay. So I didn't notice that.
I'm like, oh my god, that's the same. That's Naoto's cat. That's Naoto's cat. That's the family cat right there. If we go see him this episode, we got something better. We got something even better this episode. We'll get to him. We'll get to that in a minute because I just want to tear into that. Like, oh my god, the abuse, the abuse he took. Oh god. Oh oh god.
Okay, did I mention Aiko? We got to see more of her, or just a little bit of her
oh
in this episode. Aiko, the rent to date girl, we got to see her. Um, she goes, so she comes home, and the old homeless dude is sitting there, talking to her father. They're talking about their research and everything, and he's still trying to figure out, where's that flower pot, and then where's the carved bear? Because she ends up Aiko ends up giving the carved bear, to this guy that rented her services for the what do they call it? The rent a date service, and apparently the pot and the bear were made from Conti's shell, and so I think they said they were trying to, I guess, do research on the NO waves or whatever, and I guess those things or devices to kind of measure the NO waves or something like that. But something I don't get is that so like there's one point in the episode where the helicopter drops off the new ride that that Marco tests, the Viking ride, and I'm wondering, is that medical mechanic is doing, is the whole Marco testing the Viking ride and everything, like is that Viking ride from medical mechanica, like what you think? Because
Oh,
because they said something. The old man and Aiko's father, they said that, oh, well, this will make. They said something like this will make our research more difficult or something like that. So that kind of makes me think that maybe it's medical mechanica. That they had something to do with that ride. But what you think?
how this strange company and in within this world kind of works. It's like it has to be them. Who else has the resources and other and to just come out with a ride out of nowhere, just be like, yeah, let's put it in there. Let's just do what we need to do. It's fine. Let's do what we got to do. So I wouldn't put it past them for them to be the chopper and them dropping the ride. So yeah, not only that, Conti, Lord Conti, is back from first season. I nostalgic. I went full nostalgic on this, and I'm like, he's gone. They got him hang up on a cross. His legs are gone. Like,
Yeah, they had him.
for the
They had this
ride,
man
I'm like,
hanged up like Jesus Christ on the cross. I was like, what in the world?
they like legit like had that like Lord Conti come back full circle because remember my Mimi used to call him Lord Conti because of the fire starter bit, and it's like his legs are gone and he got him like tied up on a cross. Like, come on with this now.
Well, they
So
said it's just his
it's not
shell, though.
working. He's getting abused by these two.
I mean, I assume that like his body is somewhere else. I assume that that's just a shell. The way that they talked about it, they made it seem like that's just his shell that was just left over, and they were somehow able to make a plant and a bear from. I'm guessing his legs, maybe because his like you said his legs were missing, so maybe the pot and the bear and maybe like in the next episode we'll see another object that was created from his shell. Cause that's what I'm thinking. Now that you mentioned the legs and stuff that were missing.
Yeah. So, and we got more context about the old man and the redhead dad. I can't be asked to remember his name. I can't be bothered. This old man, the eye patch,
Yeah, they
this
just called
old
him
man
Eye
eye
Patch.
patch,
Yeah, he's
this
because in
eye
the
patch and
episode they call
redhead.
him Eye Patch. Yeah, yeah. The
Okay,
old
thank
the
God
old man that goes around asking people would they like to be a pro and you look like a champion.
it's like, okay, so this whole time he's been looking at people's like hands. Okay, I thought he was an absolute like pervert for the longest time because it's the
Yeah, I
way he
thought
was
this
introduced.
man was the old. I thought he was like the old man from Family Guy. Like I said, like I guess his name was Hubert or whatever from Family Guy. The old man.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I thought
This
we were
creepy old man.
I thought we were gonna have to call. I thought we would have to go and call like Chris Hansen or something for this because like, oh, okay, I'm relieved that we they didn't get reduced to writing an old pervert. Thank God.
Oh yeah, something.
After,
Not to cut you off because like something else. When Aiko returns and she goes into the room, and at first they were talking about the plant and the NO waves and everything like that. But as soon as she comes into the room, they act like they were just practicing boxing and stuff, and they were just acting all weird. And she's like, "Why are they acting like that? What are you doing?" Like a scene like that. That scene was straight up like something out of the original, like something out of the original first season. Like there were a lot of scenes like that in this episode. And again, going back to the pacing and stuff, like all these things made it seem to me like this was a legit, return to form when it comes to just what people have been kind of complaining that they want to see. I think that y'all got what y'all wanted in this episode. But yeah,
because there's
go ahead and
really
say.
like
Well, go ahead
no
and say what you're gonna say.
dude, there was like really no like slow pacing with this one. It really didn't feel. It really felt like a return to form of what season one is. It's like we ain't got no time to breathe. Okay, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, next scene, 2 minutes, next scene, just over and over and over, just whatever. Just after that, finding out what happened to Conti and the plan and no eye patch and all that. Um, Jinyu, Haruko, Ide, and Hidomi head to Medical Mechanica, and Jinyu's whole plan was just to like get Haruko to like sneak up in there or whatever. It's like, and Haruko's like, "That's your plan? You didn't have a plan?" It's like, I don't know, like Jinyu losing her composure, just like we have to work together on this. So just So work with me on this. You don't give me orders. It was like, okay, the more y'all fight like this, the more it's like y'all really must be the same person because she ain't lose her cool like that this entire time like this. So it's like more nods to it before like the fight happened to me anyway because we have like Jinyu just trying to like really get Haruko to like give up on Automask when they after they entered Ide's head in his like drill form, his like head looks like something out of Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, what is this drill? Is this Castle Oblivion or something? Like, what is this?
Yeah,
So
that was freaking weird. So basically, Hidomi throws up a plant, throws that plant that the fat
into
dude,
him.
yeah, she throws the plant that the fat guy was given. Aiko gave the fat guy in the last episode. She throws the plant up. The plant hits him in the head, and basically, uh, Jinyu and Haruko basically get sucked into his head, and that place was weird. And last night, maybe it was because I was like all day, I was just watching TV all day, so I was kind of tired. At first, it threw me off because I thought that I thought that they were in the medical mechanical plant or something. And then I went back and watched it. I was like, oh, okay, they're inside his head. Cause that it just threw me off. Cause I got threw off because like
Man,
I like all of yesterday I was watching Luke Cage all day, so I got thrown off by that. But anyway,
it's cool.
nah,
Just
go ahead.
so yeah, they're in his head, and Jinyu's still trying to get Haruko like on her, or like at least on her side to be like, okay, you need to just give up on Automask, like because it's not worth it. I basically like the more she like said stuff like this, the more I'm like, is this really Har? Is Jinyu like really like Haruko's side of like she knows this is kind of fruitless to keep chasing after him, and she should just give it up? That's what had me thinking like the entire time. You know, if we got confirmation that they're the same person, if it wasn't obvious from the credits that we kept saying, I kept saying like, look at the credits, they split,
Yeah, you
and
called it.
it's like, and I'm like, okay. Before they even fought, I'm like, okay, she keeps. Maybe she knows it's fruitless to keep chasing after this guy. Maybe she knows that.
Like the
But of course,
way.
Haruko being stubborn and that,
No, go ahead. I don't want to talk over you. Go ahead.
so like Haruko, like not wanting to give up Automask at all, gets angry, and then they start fighting her in Ide's head, and I'm like, oh boy, hopefully we get a better fight. We did get a better fight, and then the first time they fought. So with that going on, we have uh Marco having something crawl out of his head now, and it reaches to medical mechanica and starts lifting the thing up. Meanwhile, in the car, which apparently doesn't have the brake on, you can jump in at any time, by the way.
Oh yeah, I was just trying to wait until no, I was just trying to wait until you were done because I didn't want to speak over you or anything. What I think about the whole situation with Haruko and Jinyu being the same, I think the way I see it is that Jinyu is the more rational part of herself, whereas Haruko is the more reckless, more kind of selfish part of herself. If they are, in fact, well, it's pretty much confirmed at this point that they are the same being. So that's the way that I see it. Jinyu is the more rational, calm, type that is saying that yeah, we kind of need to let this guy go and be free. But Haruko thinks differently. Obviously, I will say just kind of piggybacking off of what you said, I do like the fact that I do like when they're interacting with each other and they are basically at each other's throat. And I like the fighting in this. One thing I can say is that I think the animation here, I think I think because a lot of people been criticizing. There was some people that might criticize some of the episodes when it comes to the animation or whatever. I have yet to see any bad animation. I mean, I'm not really the expert at that. You've been able to see more of the bad animation than what I've been able to kind of see. But I thought this episode was just beautifully animated, especially when it came to the fighting, and the fighting was really good and everything. But what was the last thing you what was the last thing you were saying? Because I kind of wanted to kind of go off of that. The last thing that you said.
The Daniel's car not being in park that started to fall over. Ide chasing after like Hidomi, who like, oh wait, no, wait, before that, hold on, I'm about to skip over one of the most important parts. Like Happy Hidomi, as I like to call her, starts giving this whole speech about like she wishes the world was destroyed because like she's tired of waiting for her father, and the whole like now mommy doesn't have to wait for dad anymore if the world's destroyed. That's like
Thank you for
I'm like
mentioning that. Thank you for mentioning that
I'm
because
like
I would have forgotten because I didn't even put that in my notes. Thank you.
I'm like, okay, so this like further goes into like your theory about how she really feels and such. Because this, I think, like Happy Domi is actually how she really feels about
Yeah,
everything.
that's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking the whole time I was watching this. I'm like, this is who she really is inside, but she just like keeps her emotions kind of bottled up. So like she mentioned something about being angry and sad and frustrated and stuff. And again, like you said, she mentions her father. So I think I honestly think that I was right. She was kind of depressed, a little sad. She wants her father to return so her mother can be happy and she can be happy also. She also, I think she just kind of maybe afraid of just, breaking out of her shell, coming out of her shell and just being with people, being with her friends and E-Day and everything like that. Because even last episode, going back to what happened in last episode, where she's just like she spent like the beginning of the episode, by herself while everyone else is just over there playing. They're playing volleyball and everything. And even when they show like the quick flashes and like the montage or whatever, she's over there like picking up a picking up a crab, and like I guess she was like playing in the sand or whatever while everyone else is doing something else. So I was right, and you were right about the whole thing with like Jinyu and Haruko being the same. So we we are like we
Kudos, kudos us.
right. We're on the right track with this. At first, I thought like maybe we're wrong about a lot of our assumptions, but we kind of getting this right.
We're kind of understanding the insanity it is FLCL. So it's like, wow, we were right on this. We were right on this. We were right on this. We're doing a better job than the theorists out there. We should be the theorists of the show at this point.
Let's not
Because
go that far, man. Uh, did
but God,
we talk about the Pirate King yet?
let me get this. Let me get
You
this one.
did talk a
So
little bit about Adamos, but go ahead.
I get this, and then you can jump in. So the car starts falling over, and then like beforehand, like they start to creep out of Ide's head. I'm like, Ultimate Jinyu, Ultimate Arco, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna fight now. What got me, I think colors, them having Dragon Ball colors around them or auras or whatever, makes sense because I think blue is supposed to represent like calm and coolness, while red is supposed to represent anger. Like that's kind of what got me with the whole color scheme. It finally hit me. It's like that's why they have. That's why Haruko has red and Jinyu has blue. But
Yeah, that does match up with
and
their personality. Yeah.
that got me. So and the red haired dude is like, "That's Automaski. That's the Power King's power." I'm like, and he's like, "No, no, it's not. No, yes, it is. It's his power. It ain't him, but it's his power." That's what he said. That's what he said. Everybody started.
Because it reminds me of when Naoto took that form, right?
That was his power when he turned all red. That in season one, and why Haruko got pissed off about like that's power. That power is mine. So I think she still has like a good few notches of his power in her. I think both of them will like I guess will all Haruko now, but still, I think they both did to a certain extent, which explains like the aura. That does make sense the more I think about it now. But go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I think we said what we gotta say about that, but just getting to the ending of the episode though, because then she turns to Hidomi, after she basically eats Jinyu. She consumes Jinyu, but I don't think Jinyu's gone. Even though that she devoured, she said, "I'm gonna devour you, Jinyu." She said something like that, and basically she eats Jinyu. So now they're one person again. But she turns to Hidomi and she's like, "You need to come with me." She says something like that, and then Hidomi, uh, her headphones had fell off, and she returned to normal and everything. And then she's like, "I know what you want, and that's why I'm not gonna go with you." And it's just like, well, what? Uh huh. Like I want to know where this is gonna be going for the next episode after that.
And that kind of threw me off when like you think about it, because like how do you know exactly? It's not like it
Like
or
it's not like
something.
they explain that situation to her. So how would she know about the Adamosk and the Pirate King, his power, all the stuff going on, all the stuff going on with Medical Mechanica? How would she know about all this stuff that's happening in the background? So what is like how does she know? But then again, Jinyu, that conversation Hidomi had with Jinyu in episode 3, last week's episode, where she's like, "What do you want?" Jinyu asked her what did she want, and she talked about Haruko and like the fact that they are the same person, the fact that they're in love with the Pirate King with Adamas. So she kind of knows in a sense what Haruko wants at least.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, and again, like I think this plays into the fact like Jinyu really is that side of her that's like that knows it's kind of pointless to keep chasing after him. But eh, not only that, but after she got eaten, like I texted you this, her hair's pink again, like completely pink. It's not pink orange anymore. Like, look at that. And
Yeah, because that
like
was that was something that you
when
pointed out. That was something that you pointed out the other week. The fact that her hair isn't, it wasn't pink at first.
it wasn't full pink,
Yeah, and then like next week's episode,
and
I
that
saw a little bit of the preview, and in that it seems like it's gonna be completely different art style next week or something, because it looks different.
that and just notice one thing about the preview and also like the end of the episode where they have to show Haruko's eyes. She has Jinyu's eyes now. They're not green. What is this? She has Jinyu's eyes now.
I don't know, man. They went on some Gogeta type of stuff in this episode.
It's like not only that, man, but you can't be assaulting her glasses and then just have the nerve to
Yeah,
put
she
them on
said
there. What is
stupid,
wrong with you?
stupid sunglasses. Yeah, that's something I gotta
like,
mention. Also, the dialogue was really good. The voice acting is staying on point. That's something I don't think anybody can disagree with. Voice acting on point, definitely, and the
it's top
dialogue,
notch.
obviously. But yeah, I
But
think I think we've covered everything we gotta cover for this episode. So final thoughts and rating.
loved it more than last week's episode. Best character's gonna have to suck it up because I do want to see how this is gonna end. But um, and most of our theories was right. So I would say 4.5 out of 5 for me. I love this episode.
Man, it's a five out
Loved
of
it.
five for me. It's definitely 5 out of 5. The flow of the episode. Again, this is just a return. I feel like it is more. I feel like this episode is even more close. Like it's closer to the original than to. So it's closer to the original template than what the first few episodes was. But I still like the first few episodes. I definitely still like it, but I feel like this episode is the best episode so far. And so that's all we got to say about Fully Cooley episode 4. Let us know what you guys thought about the episode in the comment section below. We're out of here. We'll do another review hopefully next week. We're out of here. Peace.